Fine, great. So the first question is there in front of you, and यहाँ पे मैं तुम्हें सिंपल सी एक बात बोलूंगा, I told you so. We had discussed a very similar kind of we discussed a very similar problem, and in the one shot video that was uploaded. And if you would have seen the video, you should have been able to do this problem with all but little effort. Okay, so here we go. You are given that you have a tower, and the height of the tower is h. Now you have a ball which is thrown upwards with speed u, and it comes down and hits the ground with speed v. Okay, that's the thing that has been given to you. Now with this information, you have been asked to calculate the average speed. So the way I would approach this problem is the following. Is it small h? Yeah, it's small h, not capital H. So let me just make this small h. Okay, so the way I would approach this problem is very simple. I have the ball. I divide the motion into two parts, ascent and descent, right? I'll divide the motion into two parts, ascent and descent. Okay, and the point of transition being the point where your velocity is zero. Okay, your velocity over here is zero. The reason I'm using v prime over there and not v is because v is used to denote the velocity at this particular point, right? And यहाँ पे तुम्हारी velocity is u. So you're given the situation. Now part one of the motion is ascent, part two of the motion is descent. Okay, part one of the motion we'll analyze first, and then we'll analyze part two of the motion, and then we'll see how to calculate the average speed. Okay, but yeah, before we do that, remember that average speed is not displacement by time, it's total distance by time. All right, so here we go. Okay, what's the time taken for your ascent? Clearly it's u by g, right? I hope you remember that. We discussed this exactly in the one shot session, right? So it's u by g, है ना? And फिर distance कितना तुम travel करोगे वो भी काफी simple था. That was your h max without small h. Yes or no? So the distance is going to be d ascent is okay. मैंने यहाँ पे t क्यों लिखा? It should be t1. Let me write this as t1. I made a mistake. t1 लिख लेता हूँ मैं, इसको ज़्यादा अच्छा better लगेगा, है ना? Just a second, give me. Let me change this. आजा. हाँ, एक सेकंड हो गया. तो यहाँ पे t1 ले लेते हैं and d1 ले लेते हैं. d1 कितना होने वाला है? That's going to be v square minus u square is equals to 2as. Using that, you'll get your displacement of the distance traveled in this particular case to be u square by 2g. Similarly, t2 is equal to, if you understand how to calculate this, v by g, right? Because every second your velocity increases by an amount that is equal to g. So how much time will be taken for it to go from 0 to v by g, right? Very simple. What is the distance? d2 is your this particular thing, just like it's basically again the same reasoning. V square minus u square is equals to 2as. Put in the numbers and you will get this to be v square by 2g, right? And I sort of expect you to remember these formula by now. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm not deriving them for you. Fine. Now your speed, average speed, which is denoted by speed between angular brackets. Okay, speed between angular brackets. ये होगा तुम्हारा d1 plus d2 by t1 plus t2. d1 plus d2 by t1 plus t2. ठीक है? अब ये काम अगर तुम नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो क्या ही बोलूं, जीवन मस्त है तुम्हारा फिर. When you substitute these numbers, you will realize. When you substitute these numbers, you are gonna realize कि पिंक कलर में लिखता हूँ, अच्छे एकदम रंगीन रंग में लिखता हूँ. ठीक है, रुको, काले में नहीं लिखता हूँ, पिंक में लिख के तुमको दिखा रहा हूँ. एक सेकंड. नहीं होगा, फाइन, नहीं हो रहा तो यही लिख देता हूँ मैं, काले में लिख दूँ. So basically ये स्पीड तुम्हारा, अगर तुम इसमें सब्स्टिट्यूट करोगे ना चीजें, तो तुम्हें पता है क्या मिलेगा. When you substitute it over here, अब मैं यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ, तुम्हारा फाइनल स्पीड कितना है? नहीं, फाइनल नहीं, एवरेज स्पीड कितना है? तो दैट इज गोइंग टू बी u by g, नहीं, u square by 2g. In short, it's going to be 1 by 2g, ठीक है, multiplied with u square plus v square, है ना, u square plus v square divided by 1 by g multiplied with 1 by g multiplied with v plus t, है ना. तो यहाँ से 1 by g और 1 by g cancel हो जाएगा and you will be left with this as your answer, which has been given to be the correct answer. So this is the problem, and I hope this is absolutely clear to all of you watching this video, and you should have attempted this problem and you should have been able to get this correctly. Okay, because we discussed a very similar type of thing. I told you a problem is going to come from kinematics, and here was the problem, right? अब क्या करूं बताओ मुझे, मैं कुछ और नहीं कर सकता था. मैंने तुम्हें बोला आएगा और आ गया. ये रहा तुम्हारे सामने जादू. ठीक है, मैं अंतर्यामी हूं. अब अगला प्रॉब्लम देखते हैं. अगला प्रॉब्लम मैंने डायरेक्टली तो वन शॉट में डिस्कस नहीं किया था, बट इतना मुश्किल नहीं था. ठीक है, इतना मुश्किल नहीं था. ये भी तुम्हें आ जाना चाहिए था। अच्छा बाय द वे, ये प्रॉब्लम इजी है डिफिकल्ट है उसको पहले डिनोट कर लेता हूं। तो मैं इसको प्रॉब्लम को, इस वाले प्रॉब्लम को आई गिव इट you know an easy to medium rating. Okay, not even medium, I'll just say that it's easy. Okay, it's easy. This problem is easy, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't even know why people use it. Fine, easy peasy lemon squeezy. अगला देखते हैं, अगला देखते हैं। So this is the next problem. Question number 2. क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में जादू होता है वापस से। ये लंबा क्वेश्चन है, वेरी 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 लेंथी क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। सो दिस इज इजी बट लेंथी एंड हेंस आई विल से दैट दिस इज मीडियम। ओके, हेंस आई विल से दैट दिस इज मीडियम, ठीक है। इट इज इजी एंड लेंथी, ठीक है। इजी क्यों है तुम देखोगे, राइट। हमारे पास दो सिनेरियोस बनेंगे यहाँ पे। What are those two scenarios? Those two scenarios are the following. You have two cubes A and B of same dimension. Same dimension means equal volume, right? ये तुम्हें सबसे पहले नोट करना था. This is something that you should have observed the moment you read same dimensions, equal volume, right? Equal volume. Now different densities rho A and rho B. Now cube A floats in water with a fraction eta of its volume immersed. Fine, beautiful, right? So यहाँ पे we'll consider the first case. We'll consider the first case. First case says that you have a liquid like this, and you have a cube placed into it, and the cube has, you know, eta part of its volume immersed into the water, right? The black part, the shaded part is into the water, has been immersed into the water, right? And this is eta times V. Okay, eta times V, and this is also going to be the volume of the liquid displaced, right? Volume of the liquid displaced. So this is actually going to look like the following. You are going to have a weight mg over here. You're going to have a weight mg over here, and what is that mg going to be? What is that mg going to be? I'll just get it out over here and I'll draw it for you. Okay, I'll draw this one for you over here. So the part that is submerged is this part, and the volume of this part is eta V. So the buoyant force over here, is volume displaced, right? Is volume displaced. The buoyant force over here is going to be weight of the liquid displaced, and that's going to be eta times V times rho, which is of the liquid over here, rho of the liquid over here, times G. And the weight of this particular cube is obviously going to be V rho Ag, है ना? इसमें तो कोई question है नहीं. This is pretty simple, and they are equal. So what does this tell you? They are equal, right? Equilibrium पे. So what does this tell you? This tells you that rho is equals to rho A by eta. As simple as that. So remember this result. We'll be using this now. We'll be using this result. So this is what the first part of the question is trying to tell you, and you have completely derived it. Awesome. So what's the next part? The next part says that now you just don't have the first one, you have the second one added to the first one as well. And not by added, I mean it's kept above it, right? Over here, you have to be a little wise, and you actually have to do the following. You have to, you know, take both of them as one system. That would simplify your question actually a lot. Okay, you have to take both of them as one system. Okay, you have to take both of them as one system. So my system is going to be the following. The system is this, the entire thing. What happens when you do this is that your normal reactions become internal forces, and then you don't have to consider them. All you have to do is you have to consider the total buoyant force, which is only going to be the buoyant force on the lower block, since it's the one that's being immersed, right? The upper block is not being immersed, so बस उसमें force लगेगा ऊपर की तरफ, और इनका total weight लगेगा ऊपर वाले का weight और नीचे वाले का weight. So you'll have three forces, right? You'll have three forces. What are those three forces? Those three forces are the following. You'll first have you'll have V, right? V rho A plus rho Bg, right? V rho A plus rho Bg. Yes or no? Do you get this, all of you? This should be absolutely clear to all of you. V rho A plus rho Bg. Now, because rho A B is mass of the first one, and rho B into V is the mass of the second one, right? Same volume, तो याद रखना, so V is going to be common. Awesome. And then the upthrust is going to be the upthrust on the lower one, right? Because that's the only one that's inside the water and entirely inside the water, right? Just entirely inside the water. So that upthrust is going to be nothing but V. अब यहाँ पे eta V नहीं रहेगा क्योंकि पूरा का पूरा डूबा हुआ है. So it's going to be V rho G. What this tells you now is that V into rho A plus rho B divided by G. Sorry, not divided by, multiplied by G is equal to V rho G. But what is rho? Rho is rho A by eta, right? Rho is rho A by eta. So rho A, this is equal to rho A by eta, right? V rho A by eta G, है ना? So V rho A eta G and V cancel. Now bring the like terms together and unlike terms together, or you can do another thing, that is to divide this entire equation by rho A. Divide this entire equation by rho A, और तुम्हें मिल जाएगा जादुई चीज, वो होगा rho B by rho A. Divide this entire thing by rho A, divide this entire thing by rho A, and you will get 1 by eta minus 1, which is nothing but option A. And second question is done. So this is medium because this is lengthy, but it is easy. Okay, it is lengthy and so it's difficult, but it's easy as well. So that's the story of the second problem. I hope it's absolutely clear and I hope you got it right. और नहीं राइट आया तो अब क्या ही कर सकते, तो दुख मत मना, कोई बात नहीं, मतलब छोड़ दो, ठीक है, छोड़ दो, आगे बढ़ो जीवन में, आगे बढ़ो जीवन में, है ना, मतलब इवन आई होप कि आई हैव अ गर्लफ्रेंड बट नहीं है तो क्या कर सकते हैं, आगे ही बढ़ना पड़ता है, तो हाँ चिल करो, आगे बढ़ो, कोई बात, अगले एग्जाम में फोड़ेंगे, अगले साल फोड़ेंगे, नहीं हुआ तो उसके अगले साल फोड़ेंगे, बस यही एटीट्यूड रखो, पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड रखो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, यू नो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई लेना देना नहीं दुनियादारी से, एकदम चिल रहो, ठीक है। चलिए अगला क्वेश्चन देखा जाए। ये क्वेश्चन जो है, ये क्वेश्चन भी काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है, ये तुम लिटरली 10th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से सॉल्व कर सकते हो, बट आई से दैट दिस इज अ डिफिकल्ट वन। द रीजन आई से दैट दिस इज अ डिफिकल्ट वन इज बिकॉज इसमें बहुत लेंथी कैलकुलेशन है, ठीक है, तो इसको मैं क्या बोलूंगा, टफ बोलूंगा, इसको मैं टफिश साइड में रखना चाहूंगा। आई से दैट दिस इज अ लिटिल टफर देन द यूजुअल वंस बिकॉज दिस इज वेरी लेंथी। द लास्ट वन वाज जस्ट लेंथी, दिस इज वेरी लेंथी, ओके। हाउ डू यू डू दिस, हाउ डू यू सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम? So the way to do that is the following. So here we go. We are given that you have an object. Okay, so over here, I just want to make one thing clear, right? यहाँ पे we'll do everything properly in a way कि सब कुछ clearly तुम्हें समझ आने लग जाए, ठीक है? तो अब इसके लिए मैं ना यहाँ पे sign conventions को I won't complicate the sign conventions unnecessarily. ठीक है? I won't complicate the sign conventions unnecessarily. मैं यहाँ पे तुम्हें काफी simple terms में समझाने की कोशिश करूंगा, ठीक है? Simple terms में समझाने की कोशिश करूंगा. And I hope you'll get this. And diagram में भी मैं ज्यादा complicated नहीं रखूंगा. So as you know, there is no radius of curvature over here. You just have f and you have 2f, right? And similarly on the other side, you just have f and 2f, and this is a convex lens. I hope you know what convex means. Vex. Cave में गड्ढा, cavity. No cavity means vex. Okay, this is convex lens. Beautiful. Now you know that the image is greater than the object. The image is greater than the object and inverted and real, which means that the object is placed somewhere between f and 2f, and the image is formed beyond 2f, and it's twice the height, right? So if this length, height नहीं, length एक ही बात होगी, but length, मैं length और height तो बस इसलिए थोड़ा सा distinguish कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं sign conventions को mix नहीं करना चाहता, ठीक है? I'm just talking about scalar terms. So let us take this as mod L या mod H, जो भी तुम्हें पसंद है, मैं mod H लूंगा क्योंकि मैंने length नहीं height, जो भी एक ही बात, चलो छोड़ो, let's not, yeah, fine. And this is going to be 2 mod H, ठीक है? 2 mod H. Amazing. This distance is going to be mod U, and this distance is going to be mod V. Beautiful. है ना beautiful होना चाहिए, नहीं है तो कुछ तो दिक्कत है. So I hope you agree with me that it's beautiful. Fine. अब यहाँ से एक इक्वेशन बनती है, वो क्या इक्वेशन है? 1 by f is equal to 1 by v, mod v का plus mod v minus 1 by u, which is minus mod u, है ना? हाँ या ना? याद है सभी को? यहाँ पे why is it minus mod u? Because ये number है बस, right? And it always comes with a negative sign. Yes or no? I hope you agree with me that it does come with a negative sign. So यहाँ पे you have this. This is what has been given to you, right? This is 1 by f, right? 1 by f. This is 1 by f. Amazing. Now the question says that you know, and another relation that you know is that v by u, mod v by mod u is equal to 2 mod 2h by h. Why is that so? तुम अगर exam में, if you would have forgotten in your exam की, you know, it's going to be v by u or u by v, just see and have a look at this. दोनों में बड़ा concept, which is greater, u or v? Clearly v is greater, right? Mod v is greater than mod u, and hence it has to come in the numerator or it has to come in the denominator if you are defining your magnification as object by image. ठीक है, तो जैसे भी तुम करोगे, I hope you get this कि v will be, you know, v will be at the same level as 2h and you will be at the level of h, right? So what this would give you is that v is equals to twice of u. Mod v is equals to twice of mod u. Amazing, right? Yes or no? And putting that back into this equation, it would give you 3 by 2 mod u. हाँ की ना? 3 by 2 mod u. हाँ की ना? हाँ आना चाहिए सभी का जवाब. नहीं आया तो सोचो क्यों नहीं आया, क्योंकि आना चाहिए था. ठीक है, सोचो क्यों नहीं आया. बढ़िया. 3 by 2 mod u अब हम नेक्स्ट क्या करेंगे, आगे के पार्ट को पढ़ते हैं। यहाँ इससे ज्यादा आई डोंट थिंक आई कैन एक्सट्रैक्ट एनी मोर इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम द गिवन पर्टिकुलर फिगर एंड द डेटा, राइट? This is the best that I could have done, and I have done my best. Now let's go ahead and see what the question says. The question says that if you move this object by a distance v, if you move this object by a distance v, so let's take the dotted object. If you move this by a distance v, let this distance be mod u minus v mod u minus d, then the image moves by a distance 8d. 8d. Okay, it moves by a distance 8d. Surprising, right? It is moved by a distance 8d. इतना बड़ा क्यों ही होगा, पर हो रहा है, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? mod v plus 8d, है ना? Now time to write down your equations again. So you know what is 1 by f, right? So before I write down, let me just list this thing. 1 by f is equals to 3 by 2 mod u, and that's equal to 1 by plus v plus mod v. Plus mod v is mod v plus this thing, right? Or mod v prime, sorry, it's going to be mod v prime, है ना? v prime होएगा, v prime होएगा और u prime होएगा, क्योंकि नए वाले distances ले रहे हैं ना, we are considering the new distances. So it's going to be plus mod v plus 8d. So it's going to be mod v plus 8d. But mod v is nothing but 2u, right? So yeah, I mean, I hope you get this. This is actually equal to 2 times mod u plus 8d, right? So yeah, that's what I'll write over here. No, why? Just a second. Mod v 8d. Let me erase this, and let me write this as 2u plus v. 2u plus v. So you'll have 2u plus 8d, not d, 8d minus 1 by minus u kitna mod u minus d. Amazing. You have this in front of you. This clearly relates u and d. Yes or no? Does this relate u and d? I think it does, right? How? You just have to simplify this. So let's have a look at the simplification of this thing over here. So in yellow ink, follow the yellow ink, and let's see let's have a look at the simplification. 2 mod u is equal to, multiply them. ये सबसे पहले तो ये minus and this minus will become plus. Then cross multiply them. All you have to do is you just have to cross multiply them. When you cross multiply them, you get 8 mod u minus d plus 2u minus d. 2 mod u plus 8d, right? So basically it's going to be of this form. 2 mod u plus 8d plus mod u minus d divided by the product of these two. Yes or no? Yes or no? I hope it's a yes. 2 times mod u plus 8d. Simplifying this might look horrible. It's going to look horrible and horrific, but it's not very difficult. It's actually very simple. So you just have to follow your nose and you'll get the answer. Okay, just be patient and just complete this. You'll get your answer. So this is actually telling you that 3 times this expanded form of this particular expression is clearly going to be, it's going to be u square, or let's write the final thing, right? It's going to be 2 mod u square, okay, not okay, mod u square plus 7 mod u no, not 7, wait, not 7, 6, not 7, 6 minus 2 du and plus 8 du, right? So 6, not 7, 6 mod u d plus 8, not plus, again minus, but fine, 8 square, oh, there you go, is equal to over there you have 2 mod u multiplied with 3 mod u minus d sorry, not minus, plus 70, right? Just simplify this and you would realize कि तुम्हारे ये जो 3u 6u का 6u square है वो terms cancel हो जाएंगे. You will realize कि यहाँ पे तुम्हारा 6u square term आएगा जो तुम्हारा cancel हो जाएगा. फिर you'll have 18ud, है ना? 18ud is the next term that you'll have. फिर यहाँ पे you'll have minus 24d square minus is equals to again 6u square plus 14ud, and all of this basically cancels out and gives you this particular equation. From this equation you can cancel d because d has to be non-zero, so you can divide by d. Once you can divide by d, just cancel all the d's. Once you cancel all the d's, you'll be ending up with this equation 4 times mod u is equals to 24d, giving you mod u is equals to d by b nahi, d नहीं, d by नहीं, u is equals to 60. This is what you get, right? U is equals to 60. Mod u is equals to 60. Remember this thing because we'll go back and find out the initial and final distances now. है ना? अभी हम ऊपर जाएंगे and then we'll finish this question off, right? So what was your u prime? Your final magnification क्या होने वाला है? Your final magnification is going to be m final is going to be v prime का mod divided by mod u, right? U prime, yes. And what is mod v prime? It's 2u plus v plus 8v divided by mod u minus v, right? This is the scenario. Now just put for u. What was u? U was 6d. कितना? 6d. So you'll have 12d plus 8d divided by 6d minus d. 20 by 5. 20 by 5 and answer is tada. Okay. Tough because it's lengthy. Otherwise, like, if you are honest about this particular problem, you don't even need to study anything from 11th and 12th to be able to solve this. This can be done purely based on the knowledge that you have acquired in your 10th standard. That's the level of this problem. However, the problem is quite lengthy and would have taken a lot of your time. So yeah, that's why this is a tougher problem. Okay, amazing. Now we move on to our fourth problem, which is from Doppler's effect. And I told you so a moment again. मैंने बोला था कि Doppler's effect पढ़ के जाना, हाँ कि ना? Right? I told you to do Doppler's effect properly. And if you would have done Doppler's effect properly, a question was like it's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake, right? It's genuinely a piece of cake. तुम्हारे पास दो scenarios है. Let's write them both of them. Nu1 is equal to nu0. Doppler's effect का formula क्या होता है? सबसे पहले वो बता दो. Doppler's effect का formula क्या होता है? सबसे पहले वो बता दो. It's going to be पहले कहीं पे फॉर्मूला लिख देता हूं मैं, यहां लिख देता हूं फॉर्मूला. देखो तो तुम्हारा फाइनल क्या होता है? न्यू ऑब्जर्व न्यू इज इक्वल्स टू न्यू ओरिजिनल मल्टीप्लाइड विथ v प्लस और माइनस v सोर्स, है ना? v सोर्स डिवाइडेड बाय v प्लस और माइनस v ऑब्जर्वर. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, आई थिंक यही फॉर्मूला होता है, राइट? या Yup. All right. So with this, where are we? Where do we stand with this? We have to apply this formula. I think no. I think मैंने कुछ उल्टा. एक second. ये मैंने उल्टा किया. Yeah, exactly. मैंने उल्टा किया. I think yeah. I think I did this. I interchanged this. It has to be, the reason I realize this is because ये जो होता है ना source का, जो अगर तुम्हारा मतलब the idea is कि अगर तुम्हारा observer जो होता है जब रेस्टर होता है ना, जब ऑब्जर्वर रेस्टर होता है तो वो डिनोमिनेटर में चेंज आता है, राइट? सो दैट्स हाउ आई वाज एबल टू रियलाइज कि ये गलत कुछ लग रहा है. ठीक है, ये कंडीशन गिवन है तुम्हें. अब इसी कंडीशन को हम यूज करेंगे अपने दोनों सिनेरियोज के लिए. पहला वाला इज व्हेन यू हैव योर वेलोसिटी डिटेक्टर एज mu1 एंड योर स्टेशनरी डिटेक्टर था. स्टेशनरी डिटेक्टर में द न्यूमरेटर जस्ट रिमेन्स v ऑफ साउंड, है ना? v इज v साउंड, इट्स v साउंड. देन यू हैव v साउंड, है ना? v साउंड plus or minus. It is approaching because it's approaching, it is going to be a minus, right? It's going to be a minus. Now with what velocity is approaching, we really don't know. So let's say that it's v1. Okay, let's say that it's v train 1. Okay, this is what you'll have. v train 1. Amazing, beautiful, perfect, nice. The next step is going to be nu2 is equals to nu0 into v sound. But v sound में you're going to have to add what? V, right? Why? Because the second train is moving at a speed v towards the first train. And यहाँ पे जब भी हम speeds को given होती है हमें, वो सारी की सारी medium के respect में given होती है, in which the sound is trapped. So it's plus v divided by v sound minus vt1, right? V sound minus vt1 because the train is in the same situation, right? And ये लिखने के बाद अगर तुमने छोड़ा है क्वेश्चन, ये लिखने के बाद तुमने क्वेश्चन छोड़ा तो तुम्हें बहुत बुरा लगेगा. You will feel very bad if you did this, like you came to here and you left this because you couldn't figure out what to do next. Because all you had to do was you had to divide these equations. Divide 1 by 2. Or rather 2 by 1. 2 by 1. Okay? 2 by 1. Divide 2 by 1. When you divide 2 by 1, you would realize ये डिनोमिनेटर और ये डिनोमिनेटर कट जाएगा, ये न्यू नॉट और ये न्यू नॉट कट जाएगा. यानी कि what you'll end up with is nu2 by nu1 is equals to v sound plus v sound plus v by v sound is equals to nu2 by nu1. हाँ कि ना? अब बस इसके आगे तो दिख ही गया तुम्हें सोल्यूशन. यस और नो? ये क्या है तुम्हारा? दिस इज 1 plus v by v sound. काम खत्म, पैसा हजम. Answer is v by v sound is nu2 by nu1 minus 1, which is nu2 minus nu1 by nu1, and we are done. Answer is A. Perfect, simple, crisp, and clear. This should have been this. This was an easy question. This was an easy question. Okay, this was an easy question. This was an easy question. No calculations, nothing. Plain simple application of Doppler effect. Okay, plain simple, not application. Yeah, application of Doppler formula, right? So I regard this as an easy problem, and I hope all of you did the same as well. Now the next question is a good question. Why is it a good question? Because this question might be given as a bonus problem. And I'll tell you why. I say that. Okay, I'll tell you why I say that. I'll show you the question and I'll try to solve this, and you'll realize why this can be given as a bonus problem. Why there's a chance of this to be given as a bonus one. So you are told, and first of all, let me be very clear about this. I told you current electricity is important, and the question comes from current electricity, right? So fifth question is from current electricity. This particular question, Doppler effect, is from current electricity, as I told you. Then the previous question was from ray optics, though I didn't say it explicitly, but it was there. This wala question, again, I told you, and I discussed this in fact, right? So this is double star. This is 2 stars to me, right? For revealing the question in advance, right? Then we've discussed these 5 questions till now, and in this 5th question, out of which 3 of them were sort of expected. I did tell you ki inko padh ke jana. Now let me just discuss the solution for this one. You are given 2 scenarios. Let's draw both of them. In the first scenario, you have a wire that looks like this, a cylindrical cable that looks like this. The length is L. Resistance is going to be it's going to be rho into L divided by not small L, capital L, because it's given capital L. So let's not change that. It's capital A divided by small L, right? And current is I. Can anybody tell me what's the formula for power? Please don't say that you got this wrong, because you shouldn't have. It's going to be I square R. Yeah, I square R, right? I square R. So what's P1? What's P1? Okay, no. This won't be a bonus problem. This is correct. Sorry, my bad. It's correct. So yeah, it's going to be I square R. Yes or no? P1 is I square R. I square R. And I square R is basically this. Fine. Amazing. Beautiful. Now you cut this into half. When you consider this piece. Bonus कुछ नहीं होगा. Simple सा problem है. आना चाहिए था. Very easy problem. ठीक है. मैंने गलती से कुछ और समझ लिया इसके केस. Easy problem, बहुत easy problem में आना चाहिए था तुमको. ठीक है. आना चाहिए था ये तुमको. इसका लेंथ कितना है? L/2 है. इसका लेंथ L/2 है. यानी कि इसका रेजिस्टेंस कितना होगा? इसका रेजिस्टेंस होगा रो L/2A. R प्राइम है ये. यानी कि it's going to be R/2. और पावर P2 कितना होने वाला है? इसका पावर होने वाला है I square R prime. हाँ की ना? And I square R prime is going to be nothing but I square R/2, which is P1/2. है ना? P1/2. So giving you A as your correct answer. Very simple and straightforward problem. 10th standard logic once again. 10th standard का question है ये. ठीक है? 10th standard का question है. फिर तुम्हारे को 10th standard से कितने क्वेश्चन आ गए? दूसरा क्वेश्चन भी 10th standard का है. इनफैक्ट इससे पहले वाला भी 10th standard का है. Question number 2, question number 3, and question number 4 are from 10th standard, and so is this. This is 9th standard. 9th standard और 10th standard से 4 क्वेश्चन है 5 में से. ठीक है? अब बताओ, मतलब इससे इजी पेपर नहीं आ सकता था. 3 इजी क्वेश्चन, 1 टफ क्वेश्चन, 1 लेंथी क्वेश्चन, जो कि बहुत इजी था. ठीक है? So I hope you guys understand कि the paper wasn't very complicated, and it was a lot easier than what we had expected it to be. Although it was lengthy, क्योंकि अभी आगे we'll have lengthy questions. Okay. Next question is going to blow your mind, because it's a very difficult application of Newton's third law. Because you'll feel कि in exam many of you might have thought कि इतना simple कैसे आ सकता है? That's a possibility over here. Although I don't see why you would think that, but fine, you might have thought of it that way. But this is a very simple problem. What it tells you is कि there are 2 forces. One is from A due to B, and one is from B due to A. On B due to A, right? And yeah, you get the idea. On A due to B and on B due to A. and they are emerging from the same electrostatic properties, and hence they have to be equal, right? Newton's third law. Newton's third law, they have to be equal and opposite. So option A is the answer. We did discuss this as well, right? Double star for me. This is 2 stars for me. Yes or no? I mean, you guys can't tell me, but it's a yes. Yeah, it's a yes. 2 stars for me. I talked about, you know, electrostatics, and there's a question from electrostatics which it's fairly trivial, right? So Newton's third law. Newton's third law, direct application of Newton's third law. Very, very easy, right? Like this is very easy, right? All right. If this one is done, then what's the next step? What's the next? Not the next step. What's the next problem? What's the next problem? The next problem is there on your screen. Next problem is again very simple, and I told you कि एक question आने वाला EMI से, so you should have been careful and you should have at least opened and seen the basics of EMI. If you would have done that, you would have understood कि ये question तुम्हें बहुत easy लगने वाला है. मतलब तुम्हें लग गया होगा already. If you would have done that, right? You would have been able to do this question very easily. Yes or no? So let's have a look at this particular problem. What is induced EMF? Induced EMF is actually equal to minus number of coils, but that number of coil is 1, so n is 1, so it's going to be 1, so it's basically minus n d phi b by dt, right? This is your Faraday Lenz law, yes or no? And that's actually equal to minus d phi b by dt, d phi b by dt. This is Faraday Lenz law, and this is d phi by dt. Phi is given to be phi naught omega t, blah 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 blah. Just differentiate this, and you'll get E to be omega phi naught, phi नहीं होता, phi होता है. Correct pronunciation is phi. Okay, omega phi naught cos sine, because the derivative of cos is minus sine, and वो minus will get cancelled with the minus from the Lenz law. Okay, so sine omega t. Now, when is E maximum, or when is epsilon maximum? Epsilon is maxima at sine being maxima, sine omega t being maxima, right? At this thing being maxima, yes. And when is this maxima? This is maxima between 0 and pi by 2. Obviously, this is maxima when this is equal to pi. Between 0 and pi, this is maxima at pi by 2. And hence, time is 2 pi by 2 omega. Trivial. मैंने ये बोला था EMI से क्वेश्चन आने वाला है, देख लो. और तुम्हें EMI पढ़ना तक नहीं था, तुम्हें बस खोल के देखना था कि दिखता कैसा है, मतलब चैप्टर दिखता कैसा है ना, बस वो देखना दिखता कैसा है. वो देख लिया था ना तुमने, तो बस काम हो गया होता तुम्हारा. इजी ना, वापस से इजी क्वेश्चन. तो तुम्हें बस खोल के देखना था कि दिखता कैसा है, मतलब कैसा दिखता है. EMI में कुछ भी तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए था, तो ये होना चाहिए. और अगर वो तुम्हें पता होता, तो तुम्हें रियलाइज होता कि जीवन उतना बुरा नहीं है जितना तुम समझ रहे हो, है ना. Physics is easy. Number of students who have applied for the paper has gone up by 3 folds. So do expect the cutoff to be a bit higher. Although on the other hand, I would also say that people filled the form because they wanted to get IISc or IIT Madras. So they might not settle with ICES. So there's a chance, but yeah, I am expecting the paper is easy. Like it's on the easier side, right? And I would say that it's for the good, because if it was not, then physics में तुम्हें marks आए होते कम, and मेरी पैसा जो होता वो हो जाता कम, और वो मुझे नहीं चाहिए. So, yeah, fine. All right. 8th question, semiconductor, very easy problem once again. See, this is about doping of a conductor, right? Doping of a conductor. Very basic concepts. Doping of a conductor. Doping of semiconductor. Sorry. Doping of semiconductor. Okay. Now, how do you dope a semiconductor? You dope it either by a pentavalent atom or a trivalent atom, right? Trivalent element. Trivalent impurity is something like this. It looks like this. So you'll have your silicon thing. Silicon का structure तुम्हारा कुछ ऐसा रहेगा, right? This is the structure of silicon that you would get, right? This is the structure that you would get. Something of this sort, right? ऐसा type का structure तुम्हें मिल रहा होगा. At times, there's an electron, and then there's going to be a hole over here, and यहाँ पे तुम्हारा एक electron freely release हो जाएगा, and then you'll have silicon over here, and same pattern would follow, right? The same pattern would follow. The thing is that with a trivalent atom, it has only 3 electrons in its valence shell. Only 3 electrons in its valence shell. So let us take aluminium. Okay, let us just consider aluminium for example. Aluminium को example ले लेते, ठीक है? Now aluminium can only give 3 electrons, right? तो यहाँ पे कुछ ऊपर लगा होगा silicon, है ना? Impurities के लिए aluminium add किया, एंड ये बहुत ज्यादा ऐड हो रहा होगा, तो यहाँ पे तुमको आइडिया लग जाएगा. यहाँ पे ना silicon will have an electron, but you know the aluminum atom cannot provide an electron. The aluminum atom was not able to provide an electron. Because it was not able to provide an electron, you would realize ki, you know, the number of electrons, right? The number of electrons, no, not number of electrons, the number of holes, because this is a hole, right? Earlier it had to be one hole, right? One hole, and the number of holes and the number of electrons was same. But because of aluminum, if it would have been silicon, then this would have been zero, right? I mean, you would have had four electrons and there would have been no hole over there. But because of aluminum's presence, you have an extra hole, right? You have an extra hole. So number of hole increases as you add a trivalent impurity, right? So original se zyada hoega, answer is A. Now if you look at other options, you would realize ki nahi, electron pe to zyada koi farak pada nahi, right? Because number of electrons is sort of still the same. In fact, it would, if anything, it would only go down, because you know there are these extra holes which will then be filled up by your free electrons, right? So free electron will only go down if at all anything changes over there, right? So definitely not increasing, and Ne and NH are not going to be equal, because obviously doping, so you get a positive thing, right? A p-type semiconductor, and they are not independent of temperature, because the hotter they get, the warmer they get, more electron and hole pairs are created. So answer is A, a very simple and easy problem. Again, right? You just needed to know what the doping, basic concept of doping is, how semiconductors work. That is all you needed to know. And if you knew that, bingo, you would have had this question, or the question would have had you. Either ways, yeah, you get the idea. Either ways, you get the idea. Next problem. Next problem is the following. Now, this one is one of the tougher problems, again, because this is very lengthy. Not lengthy, yeah, lengthy. I would say this is very lengthy. It's a bit calculative as well. So let's solve this one now. It's a bit calculative as well. So yeah, complicated, but not really that complicated. Okay, so you should get this. It's simple. And again, another question from kinematics. And who told you कि kinematics से questions आएंगे तो? It was me. The guy talking over here, the guy speaking over here, the guy you are hearing. मैंने बोला था, I told you so. Kinematics से 2 question आएंगे, आ गए लो, ठीक है? तो अगर तुमने मेरी बात सुनी होती तो तुमको नंबर आए होते. अब देखो, your displacement is simply going to be, integral of velocity with respect to time, right? Basics of formula from 0 to t. And after this, you break this into 3 parts. Let me do this below. यहाँ पे break कर रहा हूँ मैं. You break this into 3 parts, है ना? The first part is between 0 to t by 3. किसको integrate कर रहे हैं हम लोग? We are integrating alpha t dt. Amazing. Then the second part is from t by 3 to 2t by 3. किसको integrate कर रहे हैं? We are integrating alpha t by 3 dt. So this is basically constant acceleration, right? Constant velocity, right? This is constant velocity, yes or no, right? In fact, you know, if you think about this, you don't even need to do any of this. To be honest, you don't even need to do any of this, right? Why? Because they are all constant uniform acceleration. इसका acceleration कितना है? Alpha. इसका acceleration कितना है? What's the acceleration of this particular one? The acceleration of this particular one is how much? Come on. Jaldi. इसका acceleration कितना है? इसका acceleration is 0, है ना? And what's the acceleration of this one? Acceleration of this one, if done properly, would give you minus alpha, right? Differentiate ही करना था बस. तुम्हें differentiate करना था, you would have had your acceleration. All of them are constant accelerations, right? So instead of integrating, let's just use the equation of motion. Exact same चीज हमने discuss कर रखी है, right? We have discussed constant acceleration in depth, right? Gravity के form में हमने किया था. I told you so. ये question आया है, मैंने बताया है तो. ये आना चाहिए था. नहीं है तो तुमने कुछ बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा गड़बड़ किया. ठीक है? क्यों नहीं है मुझे नहीं समझ आया. Constant acceleration है a0 minus alpha. अब देखो, शुरू में तुम्हारा जो डिस्टेंस होने वाला है वो कितना होने वाला है? शुरू में तुम्हारा डिस्टेंस कितना होने वाला है? तो शुरू में तुम्हारा डिस्टेंस होने वाला है, इनिशियली योर डिस्टेंस इज गोइंग टू बी half a square, right? So s1 कितना तुम्हारा? It's going to be 0 से शुरू हो रहा है, right? The particle starts at t is equal to 0, right? At t is equal to 0, the velocity is 0, so it's going to be half a t square, यानी कि half alpha t square. How much is t? T is t square by 9. So this is your displacement. First part. What's the second bit of your displacement? Second bit of your displacement is, what's your initial velocity? Your initial velocity is this, right? Given to you. It's actually given to you. In fact, you don't even need to worry about it because there is no acceleration. So it's simply this particular velocity multiplied with time. Yes or no? It's simply this particular velocity multiplied with time, right? Multiplied with time. And what's the time taken? T by 3. So here you go, T by 3. Then what's the third part? What's the third part? Third part mein initial velocity is given to you alpha t by 3, है ना? ut plus half a t square plus half a t square, right? Half a t square. तो कितना आएगा जरा बताना मुझे ये. So this is going to be alpha t by 3 into t by 3. Yes or no? Minus alpha by 2 t square by 9. Clear? Minus alpha by 2 t square by 9. This is what you would have, right? This is the thing, right? This is the thing. And I hope this makes sense. I hope this particular thing makes sense. These are the three displacements that you would get, right? You just converted them into constant acceleration cases, and after that you just differentiated them, and you get this, right? You get this. Amazing, right? Yes or no? Amazing, right? Come on. I hope it is, right? Simple, crisp and clear, right? Initial velocity given to you alpha t by 3, then you multiply that with time taken, which is t by 3, and then you not minus it should be plus over here, yeah. Plus minus alpha divided by 2 divided by t by 3, which gives you t by 9, t square by 9, right? Now add all of them. So what is this looking like? This is alpha t square into 1 by 18. Amazing. What about this one? This is alpha t square 1 by 9, but 1 by 9 is 2 by 18. What about this one? So this is alpha t square multiplied with 1 by 9, which is 2 by 9 or 2 by 18, minus 1 by 18. Yes or no? Minus 1 by 18. When you add all of them, you would realize that this term goes away with this term, and 2 by 18 gives you 4 by 18. So your S total, S is basically S1 plus S2 plus S3, and that's equal to 4 by 18 alpha t square, which is 2 by 9 alpha t square. All right. So this one is again a medium level. I'd say easy but fine. I just don't want to be too harsh on you guys. मैं तुम्हें थोड़ी सी उम्मीद देना चाहता हूँ जीवन में, है ना? तो मैं इसको मीडियम बोल दूंगा, बट हाँ नहीं है मीडियम. It's actually मीडियम ये नहीं है, इजी प्रॉब्लम है. तुम्हें बस ये दिखना चाहिए था कि कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन के केसेस है, और अगर वो दिख गया होता तो तुमने ये क्वेश्चन कर लिया होता. ठीक है, अगर तुम्हें वो दिख गया होता तो तुमने ये क्वेश्चन कर लिया होता. चल जा, इजी नहीं, चलो मीडियम दिख रहा है, इजी टू मीडियम. चलो इजी टू मीडियम, ठीक है, इजी टू मीडियम, ठीक है. अब आई डोंट नो कि कितने लोगों ने सही क्या गलत किया, बट you should have gotten this time because it's not very difficult. It's not very difficult. Constant acceleration formula वही लगाना है. 9 क्वेश्चंस में से देखो easy, very easy, tough but lengthy, medium and easy. ये अब मैं इसमें से जो ब्लू वाले क्वेश्चंस है ना, वो क्वेश्चंस है जो तुम्हें 10th स्टैंडर्ड की या 9th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो जाता. ये 10th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से 9th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो जाता है ना. ये 10th स्टैंडर्ड या 9th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो जाता. कोई कैलकुलस किसी की जरूरत नहीं है. ये वाला भी तुम्हारा 9th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो गया होता है ना, क्योंकि सिंपल सा फोर्सेस इक्वेट करके बैलेंस करना है ना. ये वाला भी 10th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो गया होता है ना. इसके बाद अगला प्रॉब्लम देखो, ये वाला 10th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से नहीं होता, बट मैंने तुम्हें बताया था डॉपलर इफेक्ट से आने वाला है. ये वाला भी 10th स्टैंडर्ड की नॉलेज से हो गया होता, बट मैंने तुम्हें ये इन एडिशन टू दैट even I told you कि there's going to be a question from electric current, right? And then let's have a look at the other ones. एक बार रुक जाओ, मेरे को नीचे जाने दो और आ गया. Question 6. Come on, this is like a basic example, the quintessential example of Newton's third law, right? ये तो आना ही आना था. 10th स्टैंडर्ड नहीं, 9th स्टैंडर्ड, 10th स्टैंडर्ड कभी भी ये तो आने आना था, राइट? ये वाला 10th स्टैंडर्ड से नहीं होता, बट अगेन आई टोल्ड यू ईएमआई से क्वेश्चन आएगा, और ये बेसिक ईएमआई है, बहुत बेसिक ईएमआई है. ठीक है, ये वाला भी 10th स्टैंडर्ड से 9th स्टैंडर्ड से नहीं होता, बट अगेन नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो फाइन, आई डिडंट मेंशन सेमीकंडक्टर, बट इसको मेंशन करने की जरूरत भी नहीं. ये वाला भी तुमको 9th स्टैंडर्ड के अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग से कर लेना चाहिए. 11th 12th की तो जरूरत भी नहीं है, राइट? 11th 12th की जरूरत भी नहीं. तो 4-5 क्वेश्चन तो 10th स्टैंडर्ड 9th स्टैंडर्ड से आ गया. उसके बाद 2-3 जो 12th से है वो भी उतना मुश्किल नहीं है. तो मतलब सोचो, paper wasn't very difficult. Paper was actually a very good paper. Paper was actually a very good paper. You should have performed well. Now let's go and let's have a look over here. Another moment where I say I told you so. Dimensional analysis का question आया है. But मैं इसको dimensional analysis से नहीं बताऊंगा. मैं इसको dimensional analysis से बताऊंगा ही. मैं इसको बताऊंगा बिना dimensional analysis के. Although तुम dimensional analysis use कर सकते हो, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मुझे, तुम डायमेंशनल एनालिसिस यूज कर सकते हो, उसमें मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट मैं डायमेंशनल एनालिसिस से नहीं बताऊंगा, ये चलो बता ही दे दो, डायमेंशनल एनालिसिस से ही बता दो क्या दिक्कत है। तो लेट्स हैव अ लुक ओवर हियर, लेट अस हैव अ लुक हियर, ठीक है, लेट अस हैव अ लुक ओवर हियर। Just for the dimensional से नहीं बताता, मैं conceptually बता दूं because that will help you in next. Okay, but this is a question from dimensional analysis, and I'll regard this question as, I'll regard this question as tough. Okay, don't worry, I'll regard this question as tough because even if you do it using dimensional analysis, it involves the most difficult dimensions of epsilon naught, and yeah, it's not simple, and charge as well, so it's not simple. So I regard this, I give it due respect, but at the same time, this could have been attempted even without doing dimensional analysis, which is what I'll tell you. But उससे पहले I told you so. Dimensional analysis देखो, दो सितारे मेरे लिए, मैंने बोला था आएगा क्वेश्चन और आया, ठीक है। अब यहाँ पे कैसे करना है, so it's very simple, it's not at all complicated. What you do is, तुम्हें दो फॉर्मूला याद होना चाहिए, ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड। अच्छा, उससे पहले ये बताओ, ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड एंड एक्सेलरेशन ड्यू टू ग्रेविटी सेम होता है क्या? ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड is equal to acceleration due to gravity. हाँ या ना, जल्दी बोलिए बालक लोग, मतलब अपने मन में बोलिए बालक, है ना? बालक तो नहीं हो, तुमसे 1 2 साल 3 साल ही बड़ा हूँ, ज्यादा से ज्यादा, तो बालक तो नहीं। सही है, सही। अब देखो, अगर तुम्हें ये याद है तो तुमको ये भी याद होना चाहिए कि ग्रेविटी का वेरिएशन का फॉर्मूला होता है ये कुछ ऐसा, G is equals to G naught into 1 minus 2h by r, है ना? एंड तुम्हारा होता है G is equals to G naught into 1 minus d by r at a depth h and at a height h, right? At a depth h and at a height h. तो यहाँ से तुम्हारा मान लो ये डिस्टेंस l है, right? So यहाँ पे अब we'll use these two formulas, and this is because this is holding true for gravitational field, this will also hold true for gravitational gravity acceleration due to gravity, this is true, so this will also be true for gravitational field. And from the analogous relations between gravity and electrostatics, it will also be true for electrostatic forces, right? For small variations, small h and small d are very small in comparison to r, उसके लिए true होता है. So let's see how this goes, right? Let's see how this goes. So over here what you have is the following, right? Over here what you have is the following. Yellow, black. I'm writing on white, so I'll just put it in black. Just a second. Give me a second. देखो, चलो शुरू करते हैं। तो यहाँ पे क्या है, तुम्हारा ये डिस्टेंस जो है नहीं, ये वाला जो लाइन है ना, तुम्हारे पार्टिकल को मैं इससे हल्का सा x डिस्टेंस आगे भेज रहा हूँ और यहाँ पे रख रहा हूँ, छोटा सा, ठीक है। तो अब ध्यान से देखना, इसके रिस्पेक्ट में तुम्हारी हाइट में इंक्रीज हुआ, राइट? ये वाला h केस है, हाँ कि ना? दिस इज h केस, एंड दिस वाला is d case, depth wala case, yes or no? Right? You get closer to the charge, you get closer to the center of earth, right? Closer to the center of earth in this formula, lower formula, and you move away from the center in the above formula, right? So you have h case and you have d case, depth case. So clearly your electrostatic force in this particular scenario, the force from this end, right, and from this end, they're going to be the following. The forces are going to be the following. ये वाली force कितनी रहेगी तुम्हारी? So this is going to be original force G naught. Original field कितना रहेगा? Original field, it's going to be kq by r square or l square, right? L square multiplied with 1 minus 2h, or not h, 2x, because you have moved by distance x, divided by l. And यहाँ पे क्या होएगा? In this scenario, the force is going to be away, right? Force is going to act in this case only. दोनों cases में force दूसरे तरफ से act होगा, एक ही direction act करेगा towards the mean position, right? What's the force going to be over here? What's the force going to be over here? Come on. What's the force going to be over here? So यहाँ पे तुम्हारा force जो रहेगा, ये force थोड़ा इस direction में, right? यहाँ से force ऐसे, मतलब I hope you get कि they'll act in opposite direction and they'll cancel each other, right? You'll have to subtract them. But the force is basically going to be kq by l square multiplied with 1 minus d by r, but d is nothing but x, so it's minus x by r, or l, r is l. Now you just subtract them. When you subtract them, E net is what is E net? In दोनों का difference, right? Because they're acting in opposite direction. E net, I mean, like this particular thing is acting in this direction, ये minus sign इधर पे और ये minus sign इधर पे. I hope you get the idea. समझ रहे ना? वो opposite directions में act कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? वो opposite directions में act कर रहे हैं. They're acting in opposite directions. Fine, है ना? ये माइनस, ये पीछे जा रहा होगा, ये फोर्स ऐसे लग रही होगी और ये वाली फोर्स इस डायरेक्शन में लग रही होगी, है ना? तो इन दोनों को जब तुम ऐड करोगे, कंबाइन करोगे, तो तुम्हारा ये 1 वाला और 1 वाला टर्म तो कैंसिल हो जाने वाला है, और -2x और -x में से एक x कैंसिल हो जाएगा, एंड you'll be left with -kqx by lq. So the force is going to be, which implies that the force restoring is going to be minus kq square by lq into x. Now टाइम पीरियड के लिए मैंने तुम्हें बोला था, आएगा एसएचएम का टाइम पीरियड पढ़ना सीख लेना, मैंने बोला था तुम्हें, आई टोल्ड यू कि टाइम पीरियड का फॉर्मूला याद रखना. टाइम पीरियड क्या होता है? 2 पाई रूट ओवर m by k, है ना. यहाँ पे तुम्हारा स्प्रिंग कांस्टेंट ये स्प्रिंग कांस्टेंट है तुम्हारा, राइट. यहाँ पे तुम्हारा स्प्रिंग कांस्टेंट ये है, राइट. a रेस्टोरिंग, है ना, a रेस्टोरिंग. तो यानी कि तुम्हारा टाइम पीरियड कितना हो जाएगा? टाइम पीरियड बिकम्स 2 पाई अंडर रूट m डिवाइडेड बाई 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट, राइट. k है ना, मतलब k है, तो वो k को मैं यहाँ नहीं लिख रहा, 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट न्यूमरेटर में आ जाएगा, 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट, है ना, 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट डिवाइडेड बाई q स्क्वायर एंड अनदर l स्क्वायर हो गया, राइट. अनदर l स्क्वायर हो गया. या इज दिस नो l नॉट l स्क्वायर, l क्यूब हो गया, या l क्यूब हो गया. या सो यहाँ से तुमको फाइनली क्या मिल जाता है? दैट अल्फा corresponds to epsilon naught to the power half and L to the power 3 by 2. So this is the method that you can use also in NEST. This might be helpful for NEST. So that's why I've discussed this entire method. And I hope you get the answer. That is epsilon naught to the power half divided by, multiplied by L to the power 3 by 2. All right. Amazing. Okay, amazing, right? So ये वाला question dimensional analysis तुमने किया था, तो I have no complaints. You were, it's perfectly fine. I just told you another method so that it helps you with NEST, because I'm absolutely sure कि तुम लोग NEST देने वाले हो, है ना. तुम लोग NEST देने वाले हो, तो why not make use of this one. ठीक है, चलो, ठीक है. डायमेंशनल एनालिसिस तुम्हारा होमवर्क है. इसके अलावा एक और होमवर्क में दूंगा. मैं देखता हूँ किस क्वेश्चन में जो क्वेश्चन में मेरे को बताने का मन नहीं करेगा ना, एक क्वेश्चन ऐसा दूंगा जिसमें तुम्हें जेन्युइनली सोचना पड़े, है ना, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट अभी बचा है. एंड आई डोंट वांट यू टू जस्ट लाई डाउन एंड एंजॉय लाइफ. आई वांट यू टू वर्क फॉर नेक्स्ट एज वेल. ऑल राइट, दिस क्वेश्चन सर्किट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, आई टोल्ड यू सो. अगेन मैंने बोला था सर्किट वाला क्वेश्चन आएगा. वो वीडियो जाके रिवाइंड करना, तुम देखोगे मैंने बोला था सर्किट वाला क्वेश्चन आएगा, है ना. अब इस वाले क्वेश्चन में सिमेट्री है. कहाँ पे सिमेट्री है? इस लाइन के अबाउट सिमेट्री है, ये बीच वाली लाइन के अबाउट सिमेट्री है. यानी कि इसको तुम्हें कंसिडर नहीं करना, इसको तुम्हें कंसिडर नहीं करना, और इसको तुम्हें कंसिडर नहीं करना. जब तुम इनको कंसिडर नहीं करोगे तो तुम रियलाइज करोगे कि तुम्हारे को बेसिकली जो कॉन्फ़िगरेशन मिला है वो कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. ऊपर में तुम्हारे पास 4R है, 3R + R, 4R है यहाँ पे, है ना. फिर तुम्हारे पास बीच में 4R है यहाँ पे, ऐसे यहाँ पे 4R है, फिर यहाँ पे 4R है ना. अब इन तीनों 4R को जब तुम ऐड करोगे तो तुम्हारा R नेट आने वाला है, 4R बाई, राइट. ये सबसे सिंपल फॉर्मूला है. 1/4R + 1/4R + 1/4R is equal to 1/R net. Hence 1/R net is equal to 3/4R, which gives you ये. And again very simple question, right? This one is a simple one, right? ये वाला टफ था, जैसे कि मैंने बोला. ये वाला सिंपल है, easy. This one is an easy one, है ना. All right. And ये तुम 10th स्टैंडर्ड के नॉलेज से दोनों ही नहीं कर पा रहे. 10th स्टैंडर्ड या 9th स्टैंडर्ड के नॉलेज से तुम दोनों ही नहीं कर पा रहे. हाँ, आई होप वो भी क्लियर है. जो ये चीज है, तो ये स्पेस गायब कर. क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. Let's move on. क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. Let's move on. Clear? I hope this question is clear. Now we are coming towards the end of the paper. So yeah, we're almost there. And your next question. Okay, चलो इस क्वेश्चन में दे ही देता हूँ, because अभी ये 12th क्वेश्चन. इसमें अगर मैं तुमको कोई वो सोचने का चीज नहीं दी, तो there's nothing that I don't think I'll be left with enough options towards the end. So इसमें मैं तुम्हें दे रहा हूँ, ठीक है. इसमें मैं तुम्हें कुछ तो दूंगा सोचने को. अब क्या होगा वो देखते हैं, ठीक है. इनफैक्ट ये वाला थोड़ा टफ है. ये वाला एक्चुअली में टफ है. So ये अच्छा क्वेश्चन है तुम्हें सोचने के लिए देने के लिए. I'll type the solution, or I'll explain the question that I'll be asking you, and I'll ask Vivek bhaiya to put it in the community section. ठीक है, so don't worry. But सोचते हैं इसके बारे में. The idea is कि यहाँ पे you have thrown particle C from V naught from this planet A in such a way that it has twice the minimum velocity, right? It has twice the minimum velocity. Yes or no? It has twice the minimum velocity, right? It has twice the minimum velocity. And I hope that does make sense to you, right? It has twice the minimum velocity. What does it mean for it to have twice the minimum velocity, right? What does it mean for it to have twice the minimum velocity. It means that the total energy is going to be zero. It means that the total energy is going to be zero. E total is going to be zero. Now, why is that the case? Why is that the case, right? Why is that the case? And it's very simple, right? It's actually very simple. So just understand this. For minimum velocity, what would happen? For minimum velocity, what would happen? For minimum velocity, this would come, go, and it would start from this point. It would go to that point, right? And then over there, it would just sit down, right? Like that's the minimum idea, right? It's the bare minimum that you would need. And then so this is the idea. Okay, I'll give you a hint, and then I want you to think about this. You'll get something of this sort, right? You'll get something of this sort. Your kinetic energy, right? Your kinetic energy. Hold on, just a second. Yeah. So here it is, right? As I was saying, कि क्या बोल रहा था मैं भूल गया. मेरे को एक मैसेज आ गया, मैं वो देखने लग गया. सॉरी. सो यहाँ पे एनर्जी टोटल होगी ई टोटल जीरो होगी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे तुमने ट्वाइस द मिनिमम वेलोसिटी लिया. मिनिमम वेलोसिटी के केस में क्या एग्जैक्टली हो रहा होगा वो सोचना. मिनिमम वेलोसिटी के केस में एग्जैक्टली क्या हो रहा होगा वो सोचना जरा, ठीक है? यू जस्ट हैव टू थिंक अबाउट कि मिनिमम वेलोसिटी के केस में शुरू क्या होगा और खत्म कैसे होगा. व्हाट डिटरमिन्स मिनिमम एंड मैक्सिमम, राइट? या मिनिमम, व्हाट डिटरमिन्स मिनिमम, ठीक है? What determines minimum velocity for it to happen? ठीक है? What determines minimum velocity for it to happen? एक बार तुम्हें वो पता चल जाएगा, then you would realize E total is going to be zero for 2V में, ठीक है? Initially E total is going to be zero, ठीक है? E total is going to be zero. And अगर तुम्हें थोड़ा सा और हिंट में दूँ तो तुम ना इसको रिवर्स इंजीनियर करके देखा, क्योंकि मैं तुम्हें बोल रहा हूँ E total जीरो होगा, यानी कि इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब ये है कि हाफ m V नॉट स्क्वायर जो है तुम्हारा, है ना, हाफ एम वी नॉट स्क्वायर जो है तुम्हारा, हाफ एम वी नॉट स्क्वायर जो है तुम्हारा, है ना, ये टोटल ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी के बराबर, मतलब के इक्वल होगा, राइट? क्योंकि वो तो नेगेटिव होने वाली है, हाँ या ना? क्योंकि वो तो नेगेटिव होने वाली है, तो ये किसके बराबर होएगा? 2v नॉट स्क्वायर. तो यहाँ पे 4 आ जाएगा. हाँ, ये किसके बराबर होने वाला है? ये किसके बराबर होने वाला होगा तुम्हारा? ये जो होने वाला होगा तुम्हारा बराबर, ये बराबर होने वाला होगा तुम्हारा, ये वाला जो होने वाला होगा बराबर, ये तुम्हारा बराबर होने वाला होगा विद द नेट पोटेंशियल एनर्जी. तो मतलब इसका इससे पोटेंशियल है, इसका इससे पोटेंशियल, राइट? अब वो चीज इक्वल होने का मतलब क्या है? वी नॉट के ऊपर सोचना, एंड देन तुमको आंसर अपना मिल जाएगा, ठीक है? वो चीज सोचना, तुमको अपना आंसर मिल जाएगा. यहाँ पे कहानी कुछ ऐसी जाती है, कहानी तुम्हें बेसिकली ऐसी कुछ जाती है कि तुमको उसको इतनी एनर्जी देनी है कि इट कम्स एंड रीचेस द एक्सिस ऑफ सिमेट्री. अगर तुमने इसको यहाँ पे पहुंचा दिया तो तुमने अपना काम कर दिया, ठीक है? इफ यू पुश इट टिल दिस पॉइंट देन यू हैव डन योर जॉब. दैट्स द आइडिया, ठीक है? दैट्स द आइडिया. अगर तुमने उसको 20 तक पहुंचा दिया तो एक ऐसा पॉइंट रहेगा बीच में. यहाँ पे एक ऐसा पॉइंट होता है जिस तक तुमने पहुंचा दिया, अगर वो बीच में होगा कि नहीं होगा नहीं पता मेरे को, वो तुम्हारा काम है पता लगाना. सो फाइंड आउट अबाउट दिस कि वो पॉइंट कहाँ पे होता है, कितने डिस्टेंस पर होता है. आई शुडंट हैव सेड एनीथिंग अबाउट दिस, बट फाइन. एक पॉइंट होता है बीच में जहां तक अगर तुमने पहुंचा दिया तो ऑटोमेटिकली मोशन कंप्लीट कर लेता है. तो वो पॉइंट कहाँ तक होगा वो खोजो और उससे बीम इन निकालो, और बीम इन निकालने के बाद फिर तुम ये मेरे को बताना कि तुम्हारा एनर्जी जीरो है या नहीं है. बट लेट अस अज्यूम कि टोटल एनर्जी जीरो है. ये होमवर्क है तुम्हारा, ठीक है? सो आई वांट दिस होमवर्क टू बी डन बाय ऑल ऑफ यू. होमवर्क टू बी डन बाय ऑल ऑफ यू, ठीक है? व्हाई? ठीक है, ये होमवर्क सभी को खत्म करना है और ये कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखना यूट्यूब पे, ठीक है? अगर सही लिखोगे तो मैं रिस्पॉन्ड भी करूंगा, ठीक है? अगर वहां पे सही से लिखा रहा तो मैं रिस्पॉन्ड करूंगा, ठीक है? मैं खुद भी रिस्पॉन्ड करूंगा. फाइन. तो ई टोटल ये जीरो हो गया. अब देखो, अगर ये ई टोटल जीरो है तो तुम्हारा काम इसके बाद तो काफी सिंपल है, राइट? व्हाई? बिकॉज योर टोटल एनर्जी इज जीरो एंड दैट जीरो इज इक्वल टू हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर, राइट? वी ऑफ एक्स स्क्वायर, है ना? हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर, राइट? हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर, एक सेकेंड, हाफ एम वी स्क्वायर, राइट? एंड तुम्हारा जो एक्स डिस्टेंस पे, अगर तुम अगर यहाँ से एक्स डिस्टेंस पर हो, है ना, अगर तुमने एक्स डिस्टेंस मूव किया है ए के सेंटर से, है ना, ये एक्स अगर, तो ये कितना होने वाला है? दिस इज गोइंग टू बी 4r माइनस एक्स, राइट? 4r माइनस एक्स. सो इसके बाद तुम्हें माइनस जी कैपिटल एम स्मॉल एम मिलेगा, मल्टीप्लाइड विथ 1 बाई एक्स माइनस, नॉट माइनस, प्लस 1 बाई 4r माइनस एक्स, है ना? ये मिल जाएगा, राइट? हाँ यार, ये मिलेगा ना? एंड आई होप यू गेट दिस. बस सॉल्व करो इसको, यहाँ पे इसको दूसरे साइड लेकर आओगे तो तुमको ये स्मॉल एम और स्मॉल एम कैंसिल हो जाते हुए मिलेगा, एंड स्मॉल एम कैंसिल हो जाते हुए मिलेगा. सबसे पहले तो स्मॉल एम पे आंसर डिपेंड नहीं कर रहा, ठीक है? स्मॉल एम पर आंसर डिपेंड नहीं कर रहा तुम्हारा. स्मॉल एम को हटा देते हैं पहले, फिर वी स्क्वायर को लिखते हैं. वी स्क्वायर कितना होने वाला है? 2gmm into 4r minus x plus x डिवाइडेड बाय x into 4r minus x, 4r minus x, ठीक है। एंड यहाँ से ये x कैंसिल हो जाएगा, तुम फिर इसका स्क्वायर रूट लोगे तो तुमको v मिलेगा 2 into रूट 2g, ये यहाँ पे m क्यों डाला, रूट टू GMR, आजा चल जा माय पेंटैब, या ग्रेट, 2GMR, ऑलराइट, 2GMR divided by x to the power half, क्योंकि वो भी स्क्वायर रूट में रहेगा, even that will be under square root, right? Yes or no, है ना? 4r minus x to the power half. Alright, giving your answer is, the key point was to realize that E total is 0, and I leave it as the homework for you guys to figure that out. And I want you guys to answer to this, like, I want an answer to this problem. Okay, fine. So this was a simple problem. If you knew that, if you were able to observe that, if not, you would have struggled at this problem. Okay, this was a tougher one. This was one of the tougher ones. Fine. Next question is pretty trivial. Pretty trivial. ठीक है? Again and again, जैसे कि मैंने तुम्हें बोला, ये वाला question भी हमने, like, I discussed this question exactly as it is in the class, है ना? तो ये भी वन शॉट में आया था, ये भी वन शॉट में आया था, ठीक है, ये वाला भी वन शॉट में आया था। कितना था इसका आंसर होएगा, इसका भी मैंने तुमको वन शॉट में बताया था। तुम्हें क्या गिवन है कि फॉर योर प्लस चार्ज ओवर हियर एंड एट अ डिस्टेंस r, यहाँ पे तुम्हारा माइनस चार्ज है ना, यहाँ पे तुम्हारा माइनस चार्ज है ना, तुम्हारा ये सिचुएशन है, कुछ यहाँ पे r है। अब अगर यहाँ पे प्लस के बदले मैं यहाँ पे 2 प्लस, यहाँ पे प्लस e के बदले मैंने अगर तुमको प्लस 2 ही दे दिया होता, यानी कि अगर हीलियम एटम दे दिया होता तो क्या होता, है ना? ये क्वेश्चन है तुम्हारा, यहाँ पे अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन है, अब अगर मैंने तुम्हें उसके बदले वो दे दिया तो क्या होता है, ये क्वेश्चन है ना। एंड वेरी सिंपल, आंसर इज नॉट एट ऑल डिफिकल्ट, तुमको पता है यहाँ पे कुछ और चेंज नहीं हुआ है, यहाँ पे ना कुछ भी और चेंज नहीं हुआ है, राइट, कुछ भी और चेंज नहीं हुआ है। एज यू कैन सी ओवर हियर, the electron has the same principal quantum number, right? It has the same principal quantum number, so nothing has really changed, same principal quantum number, and वो quantum number actually में 2 होने वाला है ना, because NH तुम्हारा लैम्डा, NH क्रॉस तुम्हारा वो होता है, that is equal to 2H cross, so N is equals to 2, but इससे हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता because it is not changing in any situation, सिर्फ Z से फर्क पड़ता है। and R जो है वो radius depends on n square by Z, right? यानी कि तुम्हारा R final, R prime by R is equal to R prime के केस में तुम्हारा Z prime by Z which is equal to 1 by 2, यानी कि R prime is equals to R by 2, as simple as that, and here's your answer। ये वाला क्वेश्चन as it is मैंने डिस्कस किया था, इजी प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है, बहुत इजी है, ये आ जाना चाहिए है ना। ये हमने क्लास में मैंने बोला था, ये चीज देख लेना, आएगा इस। और यहाँ पे मॉडर्न फिजिक्स वाला तो मतलब ये जो हमने वहां पे देखा था उसमें ये मैंने बात की थी। अगला वाला क्वेश्चन काफी ट्रिवियल है वापस से, है ना, हाउ मेनी सिग्निफिकेंट फिगर्स आर देयर, है ना। मैंने बोला था एरर्स वाला पढ़ लेना ढंग से, एरर्स से क्वेश्चन आने वाले हैं। एरर से इन्होंने कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं, बहुत ही सिंपल पूछ लिया इस बार। एरर से इन्होंने थोड़ा काफी ज्यादा ही सिंपल पूछ लिया, इतना सिंपल मैं एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं कर रहा था। सो या दिस वन इज वे टू ट्रिवियल फॉर आईआईटी, बट फाइन, they did ask it. The answer is clearly 3 because you have 1 0 after the 2 non-zero things, right? This is the answer. These are your significant difference, है ना। आंसर इज 3। ये भी मैंने बोला था एरर्स का क्वेश्चन है आने वाला, राइट? आई टोल्ड यू कि एरर्स से आएगा, है ना, एरर्स से आने वाला था, मैंने बोला था, और ये रहा तुम्हारे साथ। हमने इतने बड़ी बड़ी चीजें डिस्कस की थी, इन्होंने फुद्दू से उठा के दे दिया, बट फाइन, we discussed literally like the worst that you could have done for that, but they gave an easier one, so fine। ये सही होना चाहिए था, बट नहीं हुआ तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं। अगर तुम भूल गए थे कि सिग्निफिकेंट नंबर्स क्या होता है, सो इट्स अंडरस्टैंडेबल, डोंट वरी, नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल, एंड या life's good even though it's not। Last question is one hell of a question, I loved this question, ठीक है, simple, like had good amount of complication in it for it to be a difficult one, and you know, interesting and trivial at the same time, like it has everything that you could have expected from a question, ठीक है, like this is the grand finale of IIT and yeah, physics section, and this actually was fit for the occasion, this question was fit for the job। Okay, so how do you approach this problem? You approach this problem by understanding, so let's read the question. A Carnot heat engine is operating between a reservoir and a temperature, all right? So you have a reservoir at 600 K and it's a Carnot engine, right? It's a Carnot engine, and over here you have your 300 K, right? You have your 300 K, all right, you have a 300 K, over here you have your Carnot engine, right? Carnot engine. This takes some amount of energy, Q from here, and then this deposits some. And okay, we do know what the value of this Q is, right? This is given to be 10, not 10, 1000 kilojoules, right? It's given to be 1000 kilojoules. So let's just write it down. 1000 kilojoules. Let's just write this down. Okay, 1000 kilojoules. You get this simply from the question. Now let's say that this is Q1 and your work is going to be W, right? Your work is going to be W. Now what happens to this work? The associated work is input to to a reversible refrigerator. Amazing, right? To a reversible refrigerator. Your reversible refrigerator is kept over here. The reversible refrigerator is kept over here, right? It's kept over here. Yes or no? Yes or no? It's kept over here. With this reversible refrigerator kept over here, fridge. This is your fridge. Reversible means again follows the Carnot thing. Okay, and then this snatches some amount of heat from the colder region and transposes it to the hotter region. Transposes it to the hotter region, right? Transports it to the hotter region, and the hotter region is the same atmosphere. Amazing, right? The hotter region is the same atmosphere. Let this be Q, same atmosphere, right? So so this is how the system looks like. This is how the system looks like. All right, this is how the system looks like. Amazing, right? This is really amazing. Yes or no? This is really amazing. Yes or no? Now, given this particular thing, you have to figure out what are the efficiencies and coefficient of coefficient of performance. So coefficient of performance में अगर तुम figure out करोगे तो you will have 300 divided by, or rather not 300, 300 minus 200 divided by 300 है ना, for fridge. ये fridge के लिए, ये fridge के केस में कितना आ रहा है ये? Clearly 1/3, right? This is clearly 1/3 है ना. So 1/3 किसके बराबर होने वाला है? 1/3 is going to be equal to the heat that you would release, right? The heat that you would release over here, right? It's going to be Q2, W by Q2, right? W by Q2, that would be the thing, right? That would be your thing, है ना? That would be the efficiency, right? Coefficient, right? Coefficient of performance is the reciprocal होता, but fine. I hope you get the idea, है ना? I hope you get the idea. ये कहानी होगी तुम्हारी, है ना? एंड फिर तुम्हारा कार्नो इंजन के लिए क्या आएगा? कार्नो इंजन के लिए क्या हो रहा होगा? तुम्हारा कार्नो इंजन के लिए तुम्हारी एफिशिएंसी आ रही होगी 1 minus 300 by 200 by 600, राइट? T1 by T2 होता है, विच इज हाफ, है ना? हाफ आएगी एफिशिएंसी. और ये हाफ किसके बराबर होने वाला है? ये हाफ होने वाला है W डिवाइडेड बाय 1000 किलोजूल्स. तो W कितना होने वाला है तुम्हारा? W तुम्हारा होने वाला है 500 किलोजूल्स. अमेजिंग. If W is 500 kilojoules, तो तुम्हारा यहाँ वाले को जब तुम यहाँ सब्स्टिट्यूट करोगे तो Q2 कितना आने वाला है तुम्हारा? Q2 comes out to be 1500 kilojoules, right? 1500 kilojoules. इन दोनों का सम कितना आने वाला है? 200 kilojoules. So you have your answer. Simple problem, not simple but tough. But tough problem but a nice problem, okay? Tough problem but a nice problem. So this one is tough. With this, we come to the end of today's discussion session where we solved the entire paper, keeping in mind that you have to appear in NEST as well, and this is also going to serve as a solution thing for the next batch. Yeah, I am bored, utterly bored after solving this simple trivial paper. I would have easily scored full marks in this. Yeah, maybe. Okay, you have one homework to tell me why this total energy is 0 in problem 12. Otherwise, I've given almost everything that you would need. I've given you my entire complete explanations with a proper discussion of the level of questions, right? And whether you should have been able to do them or not. I'll count the problems that we did discuss in our one-shot class. This was one of the problems that we discussed. Then we discussed. I mentioned these two problems, but we didn't really discuss them, so I'm not counting them. We discussed this particular thing, electrostatics, so 2, and then we discussed EMI, sort of basic things. I'm counting this 3, right? 3. Then velocity, and then another one 4. Then I told you dimensional analysis would come. So 5. I told you that a circuit would come 6. Then 7, I told you that you will have a question from errors, right? Here it is, the error question, significant figure 1, 7, and 8, modern physics. So 8 questions were there in total that you could have done if you would have followed my advice on that day, the one that I gave you last Monday, right? We'll be coming up with a video very soon for the next session, NEST one shot. I hope to, help you with that as well. That will be in addition to this video. We'll focus on topics that are asked in the nest, and I would really request all of you to please do those topics thoroughly. They'll help you a lot. With this, I'll end the session, and I'll see you guys very soon, someplace, somewhere. Until then, bye. Bye, and don't trouble me. Bye.
कोई भी सपना साकार करने के लिए सबसे जरूरी है सही कोच का होना। चुनिए साई एस्ट्रा और करें अपने IIT and Nest का सपना साकार। डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।